I'm gonna show you something, Ryan. I did on my live stream the other day. Because I let them, I let the Africans tell you themselves. There was a conversation between a brother from the Congo and another brother, man. And this African brother kept it so real, man. I mean, he just he shut the other African dude down, like just shutting all the way out. Hold on.
You gonna share your screen?
Yeah, wait, man,
All
I
right.
gotta find that part of the clip real quick, and then I'm gonna share it before I matter of fact, let me go here now. They still got that other video yellow too, man. Hold on. Let me pull it up this way. Okay. Yeah. I'll share my screen on here. Share. Do you see it, Ron?
Let me see. Yeah, I see it.
All right, let me make it bigger real quick.
If it wasn't for what you are the resident African
It's a little low though. It's a little low.
even though I was
It's a little low.
I'm gonna turn it up. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it up.
born in Africa, most of my life was raised in America.
Now I want you to listen to this. This is the Ethiopian girl, right? And this why I'm telling you that they can't watch this, right? They can't tell us that they don't understand. This Ethiopian chick kept it all the way 100. Because not every last one of them are tethers. A lot of them on the continent do like us, right? It's the
Yeah,
one.
we never say they all tethered, right?
Yeah, right. Watch this. Watch this.
Or they had to make sure that everybody knew that they were foreign and they were not like us.
Hey, mommy, I don't think Ethiopians are ready to have the conversation that we love cosplaying African American when it benefits us for permission to using the N word to being credited for or profiting off of the ingenuity of Black Americans, by blending in because of our skin color, i.e., people trusting, loving, and endorsing of Black Americans for good food, music, language, fashion, social justice movements, arts, etc. Everything that erupted out of this beautiful culture. Basically, we love clout chasing African American culture for our own benefits. But when it really comes down to it, when it comes down to being Black, we'll play model citizen immigrant in a hot second for our own convenience, forsaking our Black brothers and sisters for any opportunity, no, or even much less for a man or a moment. Yeah. I don't think we're ready for that either. My bad.
Do you think there's a difference
Now
between
hold on.
initial Black
Now what?
American?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Watch
now,
this.
this one I seen before. I had played this one, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's because the brother, man, he got him straight real quick too. Because remember when it started, he said, "Do you think that there's a difference between the African and foundational Black American?" The brother from the Congo said, "Absolutely, it is."
Right.
Difference between initial Black American versus an African, because I feel like even though I was born in Africa, most of my life was raised in America. I joined the military and I was ready to die for this country. Yeah. So technically speaking, I am African American. So do you think there's a difference between? And you deserve every bit of America that you fought for, did everything for. But your ancestors ain't do nothing for this country. Be honest with us. Yeah. Let's be real. They got us here. If it wasn't for their hard work, and if it wasn't for what you are the resident African American, Rich. If African Americans win in their struggle in the United States, that is a blueprint for us in Africa and the rest of the world. So with their struggle for reparations, it equals to the conversation about what Sudan needs from England, what Sudan needs from the outer world, what Sudan needs from every other person that has been able to take a part of South Sudan.
Go out and say this and go. So the thing is when I'm I want to stop sharing. The thing is when I be saying, I tell people they know what's going on. They play stupid, like the Ethiopian girl said. They know our story. A lot of them come here. That brother from the Sudan talking to that dude from the Congo, he got him straight. He's telling no, we are different, and their story is paramount to us getting our story together. So that's a brother that's down. The other dude, he see this is what they do because we always had an open door policy. The guy talking about he lived here half his life. Well, if you've been living here half your life, How can you make the statement that you're the same as us? What he did was just take all of our story and culture and throw it out the trash and make it about what he is, to the point where the other brother had to tell him, no, nigga, your ancestors ain't do nothing for this country. Nothing. So why would you think you're the same as them?
This is why I noticed the confusing word that's being thrown around loosely that I've been like checking is black. Because I even heard the Ethiopian sister said the black, like that's what's drawing the confusion. All right. Because when I ask anybody who applies that word to non-foundation Black American, I like to say, in what sense are they black? And nobody can give, well, you only can give one sense. You can only say by an adjective, a descriptor. But that's not why we're black. We're not black because we're a certain color. We're not a certain color. We are different shades, and some of us light as Prince. So blackness to us was never a descriptor. Matter of fact, black in America has a capital, is capitalized. It's a proper noun. So where our blackness is different from their quote unquote blackness. They're black by a description. Most times an X on them, an outsider calls them that. But blackness to us is our identity. It's our ethnic label. It's how the world, it's our first name, basically. That's not their first name. You just said Congo. You just said Ethiopian, Sudanese. That's their first name. Jamaican's the first name, Haitian. Right. So the way they're able to co-opt the word black and apply it to themselves as a descriptor, as a racial term, but for us, it's not a racial term. It's actually an ethnonym. And via endonym, we call it ourselves and we define ourselves. That's what's causing all the confusion, or most of the confusion, when we get past certain barriers.
Let me ask you this, Ron. Let's have this conversation real quick. I want to reshare the screen for a minute. I want to play something, and then I want us to have I'm gonna ask you some stuff, but I want to, based off of what you're saying right now, because I agree with you. But I want to further this conversation because I think it's necessary. But before I play it, I give you my beginning stance, right? My stance is what you're saying is correct, us as Black Americans, but I also believe that there was an identifier when we deal with other groups, people that look like us coming from around the world. And we had this thing where we identified as Black. But what I learned was, and this is my perspective, so that's why I want to have a conversation. What I learned was, when they seen us and they didn't want to identify with us, they automatically said that I'm not Black, I'm this. But they wasn't doing it under the context of what you're saying it. They was doing it under the context of not wanting to be a part of us, but benefit from us, while at the same time undermining us, but then being Black when it's convenient. That's the way I seen it. But if I'm gonna share my screen where where I could illustrate my point, and then I want you to elaborate on it.
Yeah.
Where I can explain what I'm trying to say. Now, this is a brother. This is a Arab, a Black Arab, right, from the Horn of Africa, right, and he's explaining how they are the indigenous people to that Sudan, Libya area, and the Bedouins and the other groups came in later and commandeered the land. And when he's referring to himself, he never even been to America. But when he's referring to himself, he knows who he is and who his people are, but he's still referring to himself as Black as an identifier. Black people are indigenous and been around the, what's the name? So I separate him from, matter of fact, yeah, let me do this first then. I separate him from these people right here, right? When you see people do this.
The fact that I never really saw myself as a Black person growing up. I feel those, of course, is something.
I'm not Black.
So when you hear these people in America talk this stuff like this guy here, he said, hold on. So that way I can lay out I want to lay out my point the right way. So that way people can understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. This guy, hold on. These are my own damn videos. I can't even remember where.
The app guy, you went past it.
I'm trying to find this guy when he was talking. He said some real nasty stuff about Black Americans. When they asked him about being Black, like he went, damn, I don't know. This shit is in here. So I hate when you live or something, you try to find some shit, but you can't.
Oh yeah, that's why I never wing it when I'm live. I don't try to wing it when I'm live, because that happens. Yeah, that's why I try to be prepared as possible. Yeah, before I go live, I try to get all my ducks in order, because I know when you wing it, you're never gonna find it.
You know what? It might be in here. Hold on. It might be right in here. Yeah,
Because everybody folding their arms like, what's up?
here you go.
What's going
Here
on
you
here?
go. Now look at this dude.
Don't identify as being black. Also, like I was
not black, I'm African.
They're not black.
No. It's a big difference. That's I came in a plane, they came in chains. Yeah. I'm past their cargo.
So now when he's saying he's not identifying as black, he's saying in a very disrespectful manner of disrespecting us as a people. Now, when this man right here speaking, he's speaking from an identifier, right? And he's saying that we are the indigenous people to this land, not these Arabs or not these mixed race looking people that came in. We are the people. So he's speaking like this, right? So I'll just play this like a minute, right? Minute 30 seconds, and then I want you to give me your opinion.
But you came, did you originally? They came. But me, I said, I'm here. So they have to be clear if you discuss with them. Okay, they say, all of you come here, okay? Who was leaving this land? They say it's a black man. The black man. And before maybe 2000, where's the hippos? The Hebrews are black as well, right? Yeah. There was it. In this land, they was just the big black people like me.
So for me, when I hear him talk, I hear him using that as just an identifier, right? Of the dark races. But he has a nationality and a culture and a language connected to that. We use black in a different connotation, but he still use it as an identifier. You understand what I'm saying?
Let me tell you the difference, all right?
All right, gotcha.
So I know that Bilal al-Sudan, right? These guys were Nubians, Kushites. They were called black by Arabs, right? That's called an exonym. That's when an outsider colonizer named you something and you take on that name and its derogatory definition. When they called them land of the blacks, that wasn't something to like give them reverence or pay homage. They were disrespecting them, right? And they changed their name. Like they were already identified as something. So they took on their colonizer's name. That's called an exonym. Exo means out, nym mean name. That's called an outside name, right? They didn't name themselves.
Right.
They took on, right. So, but they already had an identity prior to that. Okay.
And
so when it
real
comes,
quick, so I can understand.
Yeah.
That's why, because I'm with you 100%. That's why I said he has a language, a culture, and land connected to where he come from, but he's using that as an identifier to illustrate these people were on the land first. That's what I was
Right.
getting from what he's saying.
Right. But the difference is this. The difference is that, so their ethnonym is Sudan. It changed. It was something else. And now it's this, and outsiders renamed them. So they had a name that they named themselves at one point, and a colonizer renamed them, and they took it. Like it's like us staying with Negro or colored, right? That's an exonym too. What we did was right. So what we did was we took off those psychological names in 1960s, and we renamed ourselves black with our own definition. That's called a endonym. Endo means in, and then name. It's an end name. So we identify ourselves with black, and that black is not based on color. Their black is based on color. That's why I said the land of the blacks, the land of dark-skinned people.
Yeah.
Our blackness ain't based on color. Our blackness is describing the long 400-year lineage in America, started from chattel slavery all the way to now. So there's no way you could come to America and be black, because to be black means that you went through U.S. chattel slavery and where we are now.
It's almost describing what our nationality would be, damn near.
Yeah, so it's our ethnonym. Well, nationality just when you become a citizen. So it's impossible for anybody to be one of us. That's like we can't be German, we can't be Nigerian or Igbo. Like that's something you got to be born into.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So again, see, that's what caused the confusion, because people are calling themselves Black Brits, Black Scottish, Black Irish, Black Brazil, and whatever. But these are they're describing themselves based on color. These are adjectives. All right. This ain't the same what we're doing. We're saying we're black, and there's no other name. Like we rejected Negro, we rejected color. They didn't reject. Did they ever reject Nubian and Kushite? No, like they accept that as their history. We rejected the former exonym that was placed on us by our enslavers.
See,
let me just finish. So what I'm saying is that even if they so-called black, they're not black like us. All right. So we're going to concede to that. They're still not black like us because our black is a 400-year experience in America that you just can't come to America and become. And by the way, they are Sudan, Sudan. We are BLACK. Okay, so we ain't gonna play with semantics and what that means. So when they come to America, you're still Sudan. Like, don't Sudan mean black? Okay, you're Sudan. You're Sudanese. You're still not black. We're black.
So I agree.
Right.
I agree with you. I think, yeah, I agree. I think like, but over the years, right, when we would get on the Dominicans, when the Dominicans say, "I know black, I'm Dominican," right, and we would get on them, and I looked at it from the perspective of, no, you're Dominican. You're Dominican. That's your nationality. You have your own language. You have your own land. But a lot of them come here. They go just like us. We all sit standing in the street together. So when the context of the way you're using it, I get it. But like growing up, we use black as an identifier. So it's kind of like, you know, when all of us got together, this guy over here, he's from the Congo, but he still was black. You
Well,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah, but I'm gonna tell you the confusion.
Go
The
ahead.
confusion came with Jesse Jackson. So when he introduced African American,
Mhm.
he allowed that to become a dual usage of words. So now for the first time, our ethnonym, all right, is covering a race and a ethnic group, right? So now race we know is a social construct created by white people. There's no race in Africa. Africa don't call nobody black, by the way. The African Union and the rest of the world use the acronym POAD, People of African Descent. So the AU don't call nobody from Africa, nobody from Brazil black. They call them persons or people of African descent. So race is a white American Western social construct they made up over here to group people with similar traits, similar ancestry. This is why you have Asians, and then with Asians you got Chinese people, Japanese, and East Indians. Like, come on, man, everybody know East Indians are not Asians, but this is what they do with this racial thing. So now, with Jesse Jackson introducing African American, and that was co-opted by the OMB to now become used as a race plus ethnonym. So this is where the confusion starts. So when they come over here and they're allowed to check black African American, now they're black African American. So we're just taking them just off that. We don't understand what's going on. So they look like us, right? They're hanging out with us, like they seem like they're on cold with us. So we're okay, you're black, but we know deep down inside they're not black like us.
Right. Well, that's the point I was making. I was just, you know, all my years when we were growing up, I knew that the person that came over from this place was different from me, but we all were still just black in the room. So
Yeah, see, but
yeah, go ahead.
that's what we're cleaning up. Okay,
Got
that's
you,
part of
got
the delineance
you.
thing. What we're saying, you still can be brotherly with us. You still can ride with us, but you're gonna ride with us as a Sudan person
Got you.
because see this whole black thing now is back to we don't know if he's Jamaican, Haitian. See, we're calling everybody Haitian again.
But you
We're calling
understand what I'm
everybody Puerto
saying, though,
Rican.
right?
Now
What I'm
I got
saying?
you though. I
Yeah.
got you, but I'm just explaining for you in the chat. So because I know this is like it caused a lot of confusion because people are saying they black. And when you say when they say that, that don't mean nothing to us. That it's not telling us what country they're from. It's not telling us what tribe they're from. They're just generically black. But when we say black, the world knows
It
we
means
mean
something. It means
ex
something.
chattel slavery slaves. Right. So we saying, yeah, don't come under blackness because that's not telling us anything. That's why Tariq now she asked him, what's your homeland?
Right.
You know, what's your tribe? And that's what you are, fine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being Sudanese, Ethiopian, Eritrean.
And this is the reason why I wanted to have this conversation because it's it's something I say on my channel all the time. Trying to undo a conditioning that's been in place for so long is not easy. That's why you need days and hours and days and hours of repetition every day until it become a new thing. Because you're trying to reverse a consciousness that's been downloaded and been there for so long, a thought process. So that's why I played this and I wanted to get your perspective on it because all my life I understood my blackness was different than them, but we still called everybody black. So no, the way you explain it, I understand. Like I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. It's a slow process. That's why I don't mind when you Tariq calls them black too. So I don't mind. 'Cause I know what y'all see. I know what y'all mean when y'all say that. So it don't bother me. Even when y'all say, or people say African American to describe us, I know what they mean. So it don't bother me. 'Cause I know what people really mean. I'm not that petty.
Yeah, we used to saying things for so long.
Right. So that's why it's much easier to just put an F there, foundational, which delineates our blackness from somebody else's blackness, and then in the background, I would take the task on to like work what I'm working on. Like, all right, look, okay, black, whatever. But listen, when we say Black Wall Street, you're not there. See, and then that goes back to the confusion part. Everybody's black, but then when we say Black Wall Street, then they're like, "Hey, yay!" We like, no, not you. But I'm black, and then I'm telling you, when it comes to reparations, bro, like, listen, it's gonna be a lot of lawsuits stalling out of reparations because it's gonna be built. If it's built on blackness, we're done because they're gonna fill it out, apply for it. Once they get denied, they're gonna say, "Whoa, hold on, I was approved on everything else that had black on it. Now all of a sudden I'm denied." They're gonna file discrimination. So there's gonna be a lot of
that's why we was trying to get on the paperwork. When they filling out paperwork, there has to be a separation. There has to be foundational Black Americans born, in the U.S. and then those coming from somewhere else that's
right.
not
So
foundational.
So now that started with individual FBA activists. That started with ADOS Advocacy Foundation and other organizations that did did the freedmen, descendants of freedmen. So they all petitioned to the OMB, the Office Management Budget, to get rid of that black African American umbrella for everybody, persons of African descent.
Yeah.
So ever since 2024, they added that extra disaggregation thing there. And matter of fact, they got until March 28th of this year to decide if they're going to put FBA or ADOS on the new form. Right.
Okay.
So so that's very shortly. But yeah, so we back here like making moves, and the OMB is listening because the government does not name you. You name yourself. The government goes along with it and respects that. So that's why they have the additional slots there now. And for us, is the write-in part. We just write. We select Black African American, and then we write in whatever you think you are. Solon, FBA, ADOS. You write African American. You write that in right there, and that they're gonna take that's the new census. They taking that and considering that for the future.
Going forward, yeah, because you have to have that separation, because if you have that separation on paper on anything that you want to do in the United States, if you call yourself black, they're going to know anyway, because now there's going to be something that's going to separate you when you go into these municipal buildings and all these different places. You're not going to be able to cosplay as us.
Yeah, so that's why I would like the wording just to be right. Let's go with POAD. Let's take Black African American off, and let's just go with what the world calls everybody African descent. The world calls everybody people of African descent. America got this new little, and I believe it's for certain shit. Like you just said, they came over here in like the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's when the OMB put African American on the form.
Yeah.
So it's a coincidence that they came here in the millions at the right time where African American was now extended to them.
Yeah, they didn't come here, start coming here to the year like early 2000s.
Yeah, so they came after the wording was RIPE, RIPED, for them to take on our identity to cause this massive confusion. So what I was saying is our ethnonym have a dual usage. It's the only ethnonym in the world with a dual usage. It covers a specific ethnic group, and it covers a race of gazillion people that's African descent. And that right there, that's just too much confusion. We're like, hey, let's just take that off. It's not going to cause no cultural nothing, because they know they're Haitian. They know they're Jamaican. They know they're this, they know they're that. And even when we have these arguments with these guys, what they going to do? They pull up black on black crime. Then I say, wait a minute, aren't you black? And so aren't you part of that crime stat? So I remind them, like, see what you're doing? You're backing away from what you just claimed. So I'd rather just take it from you completely, so you can't hide behind that leaf. Just keep your Jamaicanness, keep your Zimbabweanness, where we ain't playing these semantical games where now you're black and now you're not. How about you just be Sudanese from now on?
But see, that's why I wanted to have the conversation, because and it needs to be had, because for so many years we argued before we start having these kind of conversations, You know, like I said, I don't lie, I keep it a buck. We cussed people out that didn't say that they was black for a long time.
Yeah, it confuses because we didn't know
Yeah,
that they're really not. They're exactly how they came to the
right,
country. So
right,
when they come in
right.
here as evacuees, asylees, refugees, they don't come here as black. They come here from their
That's who
homeland,
they
country
are.
name, or their tribe name, and then they be miraculously black when they
Mhm,
touch ground. So
mhm.
yeah, it confuses
So
us.
they was right the whole time.
Yeah. So when you look back at it, you be like, when it's sister you got on that video, I seen the part her thumbnail on there. I'm not black. It's like, well, you are. She's been disrespectful, like the other guy with the plane. They're disrespectful, but they're actually correct. It's us who are confused. And I look back at Jesse Jackson, and that started the whole confusion.
Yeah, yeah. And see, but that's why I was using the term their association with not wanting to be black is coming from a disrespectful position though. Of not wanting to be associated with us, period. But want to
Because
benefit from
they
us.
look at you got to look at what they tie blackness to. So I can't blame them because before they come here, remember I told you that colonizers would call Africans black in a derogatory way, right? It
Yes.
wasn't something pleasing. So that's why people rejected black. You know, blackball. Dr. Khalid Muhammad talk about it. Black this, black all negative stuff. So who want to take that name willingly? It's tied to a bunch of negativity. Right. So, and also they added to it laziness, slavery. So it has all these negative connotations tied to blackness. So why would people who claim they got culture claim we don't? And also in their minds, black comes with cultureless. So why would you take on a term that you just laughed at and said it was tied to no culture? Why would you voluntarily take on a term that's associated with no culture, according to them? So that's why, like you know, they don't really take it. They take it for political reasons to get certain set asides and move around protection, like you said earlier, but they'll never really take it because they believe it's tied to a cultureless people who are lost, people who need to come back home, people lazy, begging the white man, want to be white. That's what they think blackness is.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. No, but that's why I wanted to have the conversation because I wanted to get a different perspective outside of
Yeah.
the way I was viewing it. Because like I said, for years we cussed Dominicans out for years. But say I know
Now
black.
we did. Anybody that was like melanated, but what started my confusion was really early in my life when I would see a dark skinned Indian.
Mhm.
And I'm like, so am I gonna call him black too?
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, dude, clearly darker than me, but we don't call him black. I'm like, no, actually, I still call him black. He rejected us. I'm like, but how am I black? Because he would agree I'm black. I say, wait, how am I black and you're darker than me? And you're not black. And then they will, whatever excuse they gave, then I was like, oh, okay, so it ain't about color. It's something else to this.
But
It's not
see,
color.
to add on to what you're saying though, if you really when you really sit back and you look at it from from your conscious mind, us just using that blanket term black is why we're losing because everybody else has a self-identifier and they know when they come here we're forcing them to be black. They say okay, I'll be black for right now, yeah, and I can get everything y'all getting, and then when
Right.
it's time to be Jamaican again they go back to being Jamaican, but then we get mad at them for doing that when it's really our fault.
Yeah, it is.
It's our fault because the thing is that just that one banner of blackness, but that proves the point where Dante Cow's full of shit. Because just off of what we just said, this 10-minute conversation, right? This part of this 10 minutes of identifier. This right here proves how all inclusive we've been. Because
Right.
everybody's been able to come in off of blackness.
Great point. And look, and we made them black. They ain't want to, some of
Yeah.
them didn't want to be black.
They ain't even
We
want to
said
be
no,
black.
we made them black.
Yeah. Like we forced them to be a part of what
Right, right, right.
so
That's true. That's true. Right, right,
so he
right. So
already
that definitely
checkmated
cooks them.
himself. He
Yep, that
checkmated
cooks them.
himself.
Yeah, we made, yeah, and they can't deny everybody from the continent, everybody from the island who came over here, we made them black. And even the Latinos, we made them. We argue up and down they're black.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Cubans, all those folks. We said they were black. So yeah, so we were very inclusive. We're not xenophobic. We were very inclusive.
So let me ask you a question then, though. Let me put this on the table. Because I'm comprehending everything that you're saying. I'm with you. I got it. I got what you're saying. But what about what? Oh, that's the baby. I was like, what was that?
Yeah.
What about those in the Caribbean? Like the Rastas, the blacks in Cuba, and all those that do identify as black but still be Cuban, but they call themselves black. What about them?
Yeah, they're confused. They're exactly what they said they were. They say Afro-Latino,
Mhm.
Afro-Caribbean. There you go.
Right.
Because
Okay.
the blackness is new. It's 2010. You know what I mean? So that means your entire life you were what? Your entire
I
life you were
mean,
what? And
but
and,
let
and
let
then
me
they're only black when they come to America.
but let me push back just a little bit
Yeah, go ahead.
because I got Caribbean roots in my family. They always called themselves black, but
In what sense? Yeah, but now
but
go
that's
back
what
to in
we
what
get to.
sense?
That's what we get to. That's what we get to. They always call themselves black, but in the sense of the way you're explaining it, from separating the nationality and then us a self-identifier, it's two different things. So I believe that they called themselves black just in the old, just if you go back to the 70s and the 80s when the white man just seen everybody as niggas, right? And when you certain countries you go to, they still call themselves black, but it's still not the same connotation that you're using it under. So that's why I get what you're saying because I can listen to what your breakdown and understand that they can be black, but if they're using black in the same term we're using it, we're losing because we're giving up our identity for somebody else to come and benefit from. But they don't have to give up their Cuban or their Jamaican or something else for us to benefit from. So I get what you're saying.
Now,
But
but the other way to look at it is this: the same way they could put it on, take it off, we
mhm,
can't. So
right,
like, okay, so but remember, that's how we separate ourselves from Jewish people who say, well, we've been discriminated against too. We've been this, but then what we say, yeah, but you take off that yarmulke and those
uh-huh.
jewelry, you're white. Or in the LGBT community, we say, hey, yeah, but if you just stop, if you just take, don't show your significant other, you're straight. So biases and discrimination on them is something they're walking into. Like they can actually avoid it. Our identity, we can't take off black. So
Right.
so that's why we say cosplay. It's not a costume. It's permanent.
No,
So
I'm with
so
you. I understood what you
yeah.
said. That's why I said that's why I said it's a different connotation because just to make it short and sweet. The difference is if we continue to keep allowing them to use blackness the way we use it, we lose in the long run because we're giving everything away where they're not having to sacrifice nothing. See, we didn't realize that when we allow them to be black, we're actually sacrificing everything that we fought for them to come benefit, where they don't have to put nothing back into the pot. They don't
All
have
right.
to add nothing.
I'm
They-
gonna I'm gonna share my screen to illustrate it a little better.
yeah,
Okay. Watch this. Okay, so this is 2007.
yeah,
Right. So this is Obama. I think he going for a second term. So listen to the language. So this ain't new language saying they're not black. And matter of fact, I got a video in 1989 when Jesse Jackson introduced African Americans because the same way FBA ADOS is new now,
yes.
right?
It was the
And we're
same
accepting
thing
it.
back
Yeah,
then. Yep.
African, but the difference is the grassroots. There was roundtable discussions where elitists, intellectuals was coming together saying, nah, we're not African American, we're black. And Kwame Ture was part of those roundtable discussions, and he jumped, he switched up. He went from black power to we're African Americans, and like they were cooking the shit out of him. But
Who,
listen to
Kwame
this right here.
Ture?
Yep, listen to this. Uh,
Will announce his candidacy this weekend at the old state capitol in Springfield, Illinois, where Abraham Lincoln made his stirring House Divided speech. How historic. At a building made famous by the man who freed the slaves, Obama isn't the descendant of slaves.
okay, so the white guy was in. Now, if a white man can see this,
Yes.
okay, he's running for president. He's called an African American, first black, right? And
Yes.
he's like, he isn't a descendant of slavery. Look, he's going to go further.
His father emigrated from Kenya in
I
1959,
saw this. I
and his
remember
mom
this.
is
Yeah.
the Swiss Miss Girl.
Okay,
So
but now, so he's doing what I'm doing. I'm saying, well, you're not black because you're from Kenya. You're Kenyan. Now,
Right.
watch this. Watch this.
some are even claiming that the senator has not lived the, quote, black experience, and it may affect...
There you go. Now I'm gonna go further, but I want to just elaborate there.
That right there is powerful. The Black experience is a lot.
Exactly. So blackness to us is an experience.
Yes.
And you heard the experience. He gave you Das before ADOS was even a thing. He said he was not a descendant of slavery. That's ADOS.
Hey,
So this
real
white
quick,
dude
though,
said
Ron,
ADOS before ADOS.
let me play devil's advocate.
Wait.
Okay.
I got one more.
Okay.
So I want to point out a white man clearly saying he just defined blackness. Blackness is he said he haven't lived the black experience, and he defined it as descendant of slavery. So the black experience is to be a descendant of slavery. Now, one more. Now he's going to interview Deborah Dickerson. Watch this. So this is the language at the time. Watch this.
Is Barack Obama black?
No, he's
Boom.
not. In the American political context, black means the son of West African, the descendant of West African slaves brought here to labor in the United States. It's not a put down. It's not to say that he hasn't suffered. It's not to say that he doesn't have a glorious lineage of his own. It's just to say that he and I, who am descended from West African slaves brought to America, we are not the same.
All right. And then right here. So now this is, see? So this is the LA Times and the New York Times. LA Times, they were saying if he is black, then he's a new black man. Like he's not black like U.S. chattel slavery descendants are. He's a new black. So like every America was coming together saying if these Africans are black, if these Caribbeans are black, then they must be a new black, but they're not black like Foundation Black Americans. So I want to hear your pushback.
I was muted. I'm doing this for like a lot of my followers that watch me, because I understand everything you're saying, but I'm just playing devil's advocate for a minute. And the reason why I'm doing this from this perspective, from an educational perspective, because you mentioned Stokely Carmichael. And I think that this is important. I want you to lay this part out too. Stokely Carmichael and them, they was throwing their fists in the air, him, H-Rap Brown and all them, and they was saying black power and power to the people. And they was bringing black people over from the Caribbean that was being part of the movement too, and they identified as black. So, and they went through slavery and they went through these things, right? So I'm gonna separate our reparations argument. I'm just dealing with that term black for a second. When we talk black, and the reason why when we were growing up, we cussed people out when they said that they didn't want to be black, right? That consciousness came from those teachings back then. So what happens to when Stokely Carmichael is saying black power and they identifying as black, and then we're being taught that, right? And then they come and they say, well, Obama's not black, which I agree, because black is an experience. But then a person that's our age, we was taught these teachings here.
Right. So now, you playing a video?
No.
Okay. Right. Okay. So again, this is why we're delineating, and it just means we're clearing things up. We're for the record.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of us did not understand that black was co-opted as a racial category. All right. We didn't know that. And we kind of even know how we were using black, because our ethnic group, our language evolves. Our language, like, we don't have a set language. Like I call it a living language. Like we got the only living language on earth. Like you can't learn AAVE in 1990 and you know it all. Nope, because the language, what's no cat? What's roasting? You see, the language, we use cracking, right? They say roasting and other terminology for getting on each other. So our living language constantly evolves. Right. So where we at in 2026, we understand. We didn't understand then, because we thought that it was, we were inviting them into blackness. Like, we're going to be black together. We didn't know that they were holding high. The ones who were not yet citizens, and even the ones that were, we didn't know that they hold immigration higher than blackness. We didn't know that. We thought once they said they were black, once they was with us, we thought blackness was a first. Okay, hold on. No. So we thought blackness to them was a first priority.
Say that part right there, though. Say that part right there. That's what I was looking for. I'm glad that you said that. And there's a and I'm for the chat. I'm asking Ryan these questions. I know a lot of the answers, but these conversations, a lot of them is not being had in the proper context. That's why I'm asking Ryan these questions, and I want him to say it, because, like I said, a lot of us was on the ground saying black power and power to the people. And now Ron is saying the changing is coming, but you said something that was real important about how we use blackness. They put their, what was it, their immigration over
Yeah,
it.
status over it. Right.
There you go. There you go.
So they're immigrants first. They're immigrants first. They're Jamaican sex, and a lot of them put their career next. Like a lot of, like again, they're only really black when we force them to be black. So to satisfy us, they're black. But when they walk away from us, they're like, all right, whatever. And you know, so but again, like in our ignorance, we're doing that. Like we're not. But listen, we had elitists though. Deborah Dickinson was around. We had other intellectuals around who argued like I'm arguing now. Like early on, I showed a brother, I forgot his name, but then I got the debate with Dr. Alim Muhammad with yeah, I got him debating Alim, not Ali, Alim with an M.
Alim, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know his medical stuff a little pseudo, but his argument for blackness was on point. So he was debating on C-SPAN for blackness over African American, and that was 1989. So that was exactly when Jesse Jackson introduced it.
Yeah.
And there was just so much pushback from the grassroots and our intellectuals. I told you, roundtable discussion. Those were not Nation of Islam members. These are Harvard educated people, wrote books, all type of making moves. And it was like, nah, we're not African American. We're not African in no sense. Socially, we are socially found, black for them, black people. So we're pasting blackness on people, and obviously we were not pasting it as an ethnonym. We were pasting it as like I guess you could say honorary black card.
Okay.
Like I think you could work with us on these projects or on these policies.
We wasn't demanding nothing from them. They didn't have to sacrifice anything.
Well, we thought automatically if we again like we're thinking that they know what we did here, and when we make you black, you're automatically black power first.
Stay right there, Ron. That's the conundrum where I said on my live stream the other day, right? And I get pushed back from this, but I stand strong, firm on this. Our biggest detractors is not going to come from immigrants. It's going to come from our own people. Because when you're trying to do what you're doing, Ron, right now, and retrain a conditioned mind, a lot of people don't want to let it go or don't know how to let it go. And then a lot of the purse strings is connected to being African American and allowing other people to be black. So now we're going into a well-organized machine that's running, and we want to change the whole paradigm. And it's not an easy thing to do. So, and that's the same thing that happened in the 60s with the Black Power movement and things that was going on. You come in with a new consciousness to change up things in the marketplace where there's billions of dollars at play on the status quo being the same. So I'm with you 100%. I hear everything you're saying.
Well, I don't know about that.
Go ahead.
I don't know about that, because when Donald Trump introduced MAGA, like he did that like we did ADOS. And now the entire world know what MAGA is in less than like 6 months. The entire world know what MAGA is. When Jesse Jackson introduced African American in 1989, we became African American in 1990. Like in 1 year, the entire country, because they put it on forms. So it's not really that difficult. See, people don't gotta accept it mentally. You don't gotta accept it. We did not accept African American, right? We never voted on that. We never came to a consensus. What they did was they just put it on forms and forced it down our throats.
That's the point I'm using. That's the point I'm making, Ron. Put it from this perspective. My pushback to that is those people that came with those thought processes had money behind it and jobs predicated on it. They had the system behind it. What I'm saying is we're bringing in something that our own people that's connected to the system is disagreeing with it. So it's a struggle.
Well, I have never, now I'm just saying from my anecdotal experiences. When I talk to people that's foundational, like who I would call foundation Black Americans, I never had one person say they're not, like after I explain it, I say, hey man, look, if they ask me, or sometimes bring it to them. Like, hey man, like I got some 24-year-olds. So I'm not trying to convince 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds at all. I was never into that. Right.
I got you.
Right. So my coworkers, all young dude from Newark, young dude from, my city, 24, 20, 26. So I'm slowly talking to them like, yeah, man, trying to like, yeah, where your family from, without being so obvious. And then they let me know that they're from the United States. They got, U.S. chattel slavery lineage here. So now I'm like, all right, well, look. So, after another week or two, I'm just talking about things gradually. and I introduced it to him. I never had one person say, I'm not, my ancestry ain't foundational. I don't think there's one Black American that would deny. That's why we have a title here that we're gonna get into in a second. I don't think there's one Black American that would deny that their ancestors were not foundational.
Well, I hear what you're saying. My pushback is a lot of them that's like that, and even in our households, right? Put it this way. We said something about 10 minutes ago where I think you said it was either ADOS or somebody trying to get the names of foundational Black Americans on when you're filling out applications and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you fill out applications. So now we'll have that separation. So now when young dudes and young guys and girls go to get jobs and stuff like that, you can start breaking that conditioning because people are used to calling themselves a certain thing. And a lot of people still believe that they still look into Africa. They still part of that church. They still part of the Democratic plantation. A lot of our people are still connected to a lot of things that we argue against. That's outside. It's everywhere, right? When I'm outside and I'm talking, you get some people that listen, but you get some people, they listen to respond because they still connected to their conditioning. So my whole thing is we got to get into politics, and one of the things that will be important is if we can get FBA put on those applications when people are filling things out, and there has to be a separation. That's a start. That's a start because my position is I'm with everything you saying. It's just it's just applying it to a lot of our stiff neck, hard headed people.
Yeah, that's okay. Because when I talk about that, I hear that pushback all the time. It took us 250 years to get out of slavery, to get to when slavery was abolished. It took 100 years to get civil rights passed. So there's no rush. See, when it comes to foundational Black Americans, all of a sudden we're the only people on the earth when we're being an activist, when we have activism, we have a 24-second shot clock to get it done. The rest of the world got eternity, got to the Armageddon come to get their their things done. But for us, it's a 24. I just said this yesterday. For us, it's always a 24-second shot clock. All right, Black Americans, you ain't get it done? Okay, it's over. Blow it up. Let's start over. No. It might take 100 years. It might take 250 years. It might take 700 years. We ain't moving.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I think a lot of that stuff come from us being on a shot clock, come from a lot of our people because we're impatient because a lot of our lifestyle is predicated on going outside of ourselves for our essentials and the things that we need, our jobs and everything else. So the system is against us when we trying to make those changes like that, and that's why sometimes it takes so long because of the self doubt. Because you gotta, you can say the white man the devil, but then you gotta go punch in the clock tomorrow. I remember when I down at Miles number 12 back in the day. The brother was saying that. He said, he was saying, y'all ain't got no heart. Y'all call the white man the devil, then go to work for the white man tomorrow. You ain't ready to fight up this way. I was saying, Mr. Laura, he was saying, y'all ain't ready to fight against this white man. But
yeah, I mean, well, that's fantasy anyway. If somebody think they're gonna take on this government, I mean, that's just complete.
But that's the point he was making. That's
the
point he was making. He said we got to get here and build within, despite what we got to get in, just build ourselves up, and then go out there and do business with the world. So and to me, like I said, I'm with everything you're saying. Like the way you explain it, because like I said, the way you explain how we should be using Black, to me, I needed to hear that because I've been used to using it the other way for so many years. And the way that you explain it is perfect. It's perfect. But it's just getting that out to the masses of our people. That's not
what, but it's already being done. So the irony is this: you have a lot of people out there with these YouTube channels that's defaming the FBA delineation movement, right?
Yeah.
But they're actually promoting us, right? Even though they're defaming, they're putting foundational Black Americans in their title, right? Yeah. So it's actually moving pretty fast. And then now we got Tucker Carlson, we got and Coulter, these people in their political settings, right? And they're actually parroting the acronym, and they're actually saying the words. So I know people in that party is like, what's that? So it's actually kind of moving pretty fast, thanks to the hate groups.
Yeah, because they putting more attention. And they know the talking points too. Him and James Fishback was using all the talking points, and then all of them was using Fat Roly Poly was using the talking points now.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Yes.
but I think the biggest thing is what we was just talking about now, though, and understanding and defining that blackness terms for black. For you know what's like we just said. What's funny is immigrants come and know it. We was the ones that didn't know it.
Yeah, and that's why you can even tell from my spirit, like I got that civil rights spirit, that Frederick Douglass spirit, where I'm just optimistic. Like I got that Dr. King spirit. Like I don't look at it like it's a large hill to climb. I look at it as our history accomplishments. Like anything we set ourselves to do, we did it. You know, whether it took 250 years, 100 years, it got done. So like I come from that stock. Like I think it can be done. It's getting done, and if it takes eternity, it's going to take eternity. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I just I'm stuck with that. I like the because and I gotta work on that every day though. But I'm with it. I'm with it because like I said, well, shit, just 5 years ago we was cussing Dominicans out for saying I know black.
Daddy.
We was cussing them out. But just to think about it,
Yeah,
like
but look what you said though. You said cussing out Dominican. You see, they already got their ethnonym.
there you go. But that's what I was about to say. Think about it. We trying to make them be something that they're not, where they can go back to being who they are, but we stuck on being that, which they man, nah. Like, so the thing is, why would I want you to be something that you're not and benefit for something that you don't even want to be? You come
Right. And that's the importance. And guess what? We finally realized the mistake. We realized, okay, for example, it took Irish people 60 years to become white. It took Jewish people 100 years to become white in this country, in America. And so it took okay, I studied the history of immigration. Like, so I know that when they got here, everybody's trying to assimilate to be white, but America would not embrace them. So it even took them a long time to delineate from where they came from and assimilate to whiteness, to become a generic white person, a generic honorary Anglo-Saxon European.
so basically, we planting the seeds.
We're planting the seeds in our spaces, man. They're lit. They're growing. I see your views. They're growing. I see my views. They're growing. I see other people's views. They're growing. So like there is a reason why our title is in everybody's video description, because the movement is here. Like the views, the attention is over here. So it's getting out there. And I'm very hopeful and optimistic, and I'm trying to get on to TikTok. So I need the family. Unbiased Ron got and create a TikTok account and follow that name so I can go live there. I think I need like 1,000 subscribers, followers, whatever.
But what do you say to the people? What do you say to people when they say that Black Americans don't have a nationality? And I'm gonna pose the question this way to see what I want to get your perspective. When they say Black Americans don't have a nationality, or a culture, they say we don't have a nationality or culture, and other groups do. Your position on it is our blackness is our nationality. So that's part of our experience.
No. So a nationality is your ability to have citizenship in this country and be American. So you could have an Italian American, Ethiopian American. So everybody with citizenship here, America is their default nationality. So we have a nationality. Our culture is tied to our experience here. So we have I mean, like that right there, I don't entertain. Every human on this earth, it's impossible not to have a culture. Like a group can try not to have a culture, not have a culture. So culture is just a given, alienable right. That's like you just born with when you just accompany yourself with other people and do the same things. So that whole debate is ridiculous. It's something I don't even take seriously at all, because hold on, last thing is this, because to say we ain't got a culture, they got to define what a culture is. Right now I could Google right now what a culture is, and I guarantee we check every box. So that's why I say it's a hateful conversation.
Yes.
That's time wasting for me, because we just can Google the definition. Everybody who I heard, Frank Zanu, all these guys, they all redefine what culture really means, and they don't mean that. So if we just stick with the standard definition of culture, you'll see we check every box.
Money Green, and Donnie James. I know that we're American. I'm just asking questions based off of conversations that I had with people in debates that I had with people online when they say certain things. because you never know who's watching. A lot of times people, you guys may be commenting in the comment section, but people be watching when we're talking. So I'm asking certain questions because I know that Ryan can break it down. I know that we Americans, but I'm asking in arguments that I have with people, they give me these stupid, frivolous arguments. So I'm just bringing it to the table so Ryan can explain it. That's all. That's all it is. So some questions I'm just asking just to ask in the conversation.
Right. It's for the record, basically, because now you like how you played your videos to me. You could run this back and say and have them. You could play devil advocate for on my part for them. Okay, well, what if they say this and you play my take on it? Okay, what you got for that? Yeah, it's a learning.
Because they be watching from the bushes, a lot of them. They be in the bushes. They be in the bushes. They be behind the wall with binoculars. They got listening devices. They be doing everything. So trust me. And I saw you on Sinetta a couple like last month over there.
Yeah.
I was in Pittsburgh on the highway. And I turned to my phone. I said this nigga over there arguing with them.
Yeah. You know what? I gave it a shot. It's a waste of time. It is.
But the sad part is coming over there from them. Like a lot of them over there should know better because they're not stupid. They're not dumb. In my opinion, a lot of conversations we having now, we was having these conversations 15 years ago. They know all this. They just still want to hold on to the Pan-African thing and don't want to.
And of course, when you let out that video with Professor James Small,
yeah,
because remember at one point I was mad at him. I was calling him out, but when I heard that, I'm like, so this dude knew the whole time, like, cause he broke that down. He's saying what I'm saying. He said when they say Africa, they're not African. They're from this country. Like, he's basically saying I'm saying everything he said. Like he sounded like me when I watched that video.
Yes,
I'm like, wow, this guy, I sound like him.
But that's why I'm saying I told everybody before. I've been around like Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson is okay. Elder Smalls, Dr. Claude Anderson, that just passed away from DC. Darn, he wrote the compensatory code.
Nelly Fuller Jr. Yeah.
Nelly Fuller Jr. and Francis Cress Wilson. They're Tariq Nasheed teachers. So when you hear Tariq Nasheed talk, he's saying everything that Elder Smalls taught him. He's saying everything that Elder Smalls just don't want to let go of the Pan-African thing.
Right.
But make no mistake about it, 60 years online, all that stuff that you hear, he was teaching this stuff early on to Tariq. But that's why
crazy.
I'm saying that with the stuff that you talking about when you breaking down blackness, I heard all this stuff explained already before.
Right. Right, because I thought I was saying something groundbreaking, then I hear them say like, "Oh, okay, oops."
Yeah, and see the thing is, you come from somewhere. You had teachings too. So we not young. Like these teachings already been out there. A lot of times people just don't want to let go of the things that they're benefiting economically from. So they're willing to sacrifice everything just so they can fill their pockets up and not tell the truth. They know that they know that there's a difference. They know. Listen, you know how you know there's a difference. You know how you know there's a difference where you just make it real simple. If me and you was in Liberia right now and we got in a plane and flew all the way to Uganda, you a goddamn foreigner.
Yeah, 100%. And I just had this epiphany. I said, you know what? Maybe some of us calling everybody black was inspired by religious recruitment, because the Nation of Islam was looking for membership. The Hebrew Israelites looking for membership. They call everybody black. So I'm like, you know what? A lot of these organizations were just looking for more membership. So the Nation of Islam, sometimes they even call like Hispanics who are clearly Hispanic, like Oscar De La Hoya. They be calling them black. Like, you black. And I always felt funny standing next to what Oscar De La Hoya do, and we're both saying we're black. So that talking point could have been for religious recruitment.
I think, but for me, I think our blackness, I think that term in America go back to that part, but I think there's many different things. I think in the way we were treated in this country, take the African out for a minute. Let's just deal with like us and then the brothers and sisters coming from the Caribbean. East Coast corridor, New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore. We have influx of Haitians coming in from 1790 to 1804. A lot of them came up here to Philadelphia. They went into New York City. They went into these different places, and white men just seeing everybody as black as niggas. So I think that consciousness started to develop over time, especially for us. When you came over, look like us, you was just a nigga, fall in line. This is why the history showed that Marcus Garvey can become who he became, because we seen him just as one of us. Where in his mind he may still have been Jamaican, but we seen him as one of us because when you got here, the white man was kicking everybody looked like us. He kicking everybody head in. So that consciousness began to permeate throughout, these cities like that, and it's something that went on for a long time, and now it's starting to be broken up.
See,
Because
the only thing with that is that first of all, by the fact that we're calling them black and they're not calling themselves black, that's that exonym thing again. That's an outsider naming somebody
that's what I was about
something
to say. We the last ones getting the memo.
that they didn't say. Now watch this. And then the access that they have ain't for black people. For example, DACA, like they get these guys, when we think of immigration, a lot of us think of Hispanics only. No, like these guys, these Africans, these West Indians, they get the same benefits. They're entitled to the same benefits, everything Hispanic is entitled to, a Hispanic immigrant.
I
So
saw you breaking that down earlier.
So we're calling somebody black that could tap into resources that nobody black can tap into.
Yes. Remember what I said, Ron? They want to be black. They want to extract from what was supposed to be for us, but they're not putting nothing back in the pot.
Yeah, but you even got white folks, but that's nothing to brag about. You even got the Rachel Dolezal like saying they're black and stealing our resources. So that's not just exclusive to West Indians
I'm just saying
Africans,
because they look like us, and they come in.
Yeah, they could pull it off better.
Yeah, they can pull it off better. But that's what I'm saying. Like, just think about it. What you're talking about now, what you're teaching now. Let's use Farrakhan as the example, right? What you're breaking down and teaching now, could Farrakhan get as far as he's gotten and become who he was if we was identifying the way we are today?
Probably not.
That's the point I'm making. So what I'm saying is because we all was getting our heads kicked in together, we developed that consciousness of blackness in America. When you got to America and you walked with us, then we allowed you to be with us. But at some point, it was supposed to stop and say, okay, you are a brother, but we still got our identity. I think it just kept going on and on and on. And then you had leaders that called it out, but they got shut out by sellout leaders that was being funded to keep this shit going this way. So this is where this thought process comes from, because when you deal with the history like Schomburg, and you deal with these blacks these other black groups that came over that helped before the civil rights movement, the movements we had, and then the civil rights movement and the Black Power movements, they were black and they were down, right? But they still got to go back to being who they were. We still was accepting them with our arms wide open. So with what you're teaching now, I think that we would have had a better grip on things. But the system was funneling money on things being anti what you're teaching.